she's in time, just by a couple of days, I'm told by her team managers. So they're away. We just picked up the elite runs here. Here's the top 8 today. We've of course got Ring Chen 1 from China, who won in Peter Maritzburg. You can see the white colours there of the world champion on the CCC team. That's Maya Wachowska having a very good start. Many of the girls telling me in the pre-warm-up that the start is absolutely key here. Last year, you'll remember that Heather Omega led for 2 laps after having a cracker of a start. And for the rest of the riders here on the front row, they all know that Dalby Forest, despite the start loop that we're going to see now of 2.4 kilometres, it's a track very high in single track content, so it's very important to be up the front early on. So the big news here today, as I just mentioned, Irene Calentieva, the 2009 world champion and ranked in the top 4. She's top 3 actually, 3rd in the world in the World Cup rankings, not here today. The Russian unable to get her visa processed between South Africa and this event. So there's the replay of the start. A good start there also by Marie-Hélène Fremont for the Maxis Rocky Mountain team. She also looking for a podium here today after a very strong result in South Africa, where she finished, I believe it was 9th place. So here we see the riders taking off. The yellow number plate there for the leading team, that's Specialized. Lenny Byberg there, plate number 5 in the center, having a quick look over her left shoulder to see who else is there. Elizabeth Ursel there in the Red Bull helmet, getting caught up in some traffic. Plate number 12 there, Gunrita Dahla, having her best results since having a baby back at the beginning of 2009. She had a 12th in South Africa, and she's now finding herself much closer to the front of the grid like the old days. So we can see that the women's field of 83 riders are headed off now on the start loop. We'll pick them up again when they come through the start-finish day. It will be very blustery. And here we can see the riders coming through, and this is over the little bridge coming back in towards the start-finish arena. And there's our lead moto. A lot of great work done on this course by the organisers, and really popular with a lot of the riders. A lot of fun stuff. It's a fast track. It had a very fast result last year with around about 18.9 kilometres an hour was the winner's race average speed for Irene Calentieva last year, and for the men it was over 22k an hour, making it the fastest race of the last 2 years. So it is a fast track. It's got some man-made obstacles, and it's got this great gully section, and that's coming up a little bit later, which even during the dry conditions of yesterday was still wet because it's very shadowed, and it also gets a lot of seepage from the banks alongside it. As you can see, a field of 83 riders. Also of note in here is world champion Tracy Mosley racing her first cross-country World Cup after she finished 7th in the sprint eliminator in downtown the other night, and she started on the back of the grid, and I think it was plate number 87 riders were listed for the start. Tracy had plate number 87. So in the end, 83 riders took to the line, and Tracy trying to chase some World Cup points in cross country. Here are our leaders. Lenny Byberg coming across the line with the yellow number plate. The 3rd place rider there is her teammate Ren Chen 1. And interestingly, Ren Chen 1 winning in South Africa. She's only ever won 1 race a year, and all of them happen to be round 1 or round 2. So she has a strong start to the season, but quite a few of the riders out there are wondering whether she can maintain this sort of pace throughout the season. There goes Gunrita Dahla through in 6th place. Well, that's the closest she's been to a podium in 2 years, and she goes through now in 6th, followed by Julie Bressette, the under-23 rider. So this is the start loop, as I mentioned before, 2.4 kilometres. Lenny Byberg leading it through, and we can see the rest of the field coming through now, all in close proximity to one another. Alexander Engen going through there for Sweden, had a good ride in the sprint eliminated downtown here in Pickering. And Heather Omega not having a great start. She's in position 31. Katie Compton going through as well at about the same place. Mary McConaughey a bit further back than she'd like to be in 42. And we can see Elizabeth Ursel's sister going through, a teammate in about position 48. Alexander Sin, looks like there, Amanda Singh going through from Canada. So quite a few riders. As I mentioned before, just keep an eye on Annika Burton, and there's Annika Burton going through in position 65. That's our 4-cross leader in the World Cup, and we'll look for looks like Maya Wachowska a long way down there. Oh no, this is a repeat of the positions going through the scoring positions once again. So pick up for you the exact top 10. And remember, you can watch this on UCI live timing as well if you want to see the gaps further down the field. But Maya Wachowska going through in 5th place, our reigning world champion. And right, here we are. You can see the sun coming out, the sun, but you've got clouds in the background, so it's on and off here all day. It was raining just before the start, and now it looks like it's a bright sunny day, but I can assure you it's only about 13 degrees Celsius and very, very windy. Julie Brissett going through there, closely followed by Sabine Spitz, and they're coming down through the A and B line. Sometimes in traffic a rider will take the B line just to make sure that she doesn't get caught up behind a rider that has a problem on the A line. But there's Ren Chen Wan leading, and looks like Natalie Schneider in behind her, followed by Leni Byberg. So Ren Chen Wan has taken the lead. Schneider, who won the sprint eliminator the other day, the pro eliminator. There's our world champion, Wojciechowska, followed by Bressett. There goes the Italian national champion, running that at about, well, cutting the center knob, she told me. She's running a 2.0 on the front and running the Renegade 1.95 on the rear. But really looking for rolling speed. Now here she goes down. This is Ren Chen Wan showing her skill down into the gully. This is, you see the ferns and the greenness down here. Very, very moist. As Natalie Schneider goes in behind her in second, and Leni Byberg in third. Fourth, there you got Maja Wojciechowska. Then Julie Bressett. That's your top five. And sixth place looks like Eva Lechner sitting, looking very good there in front of Sabine Spitz. Moved up one spot. Catherine Pendle going through now. A lot of people saying that the Chinese disappeared after the Olympics, but that's not entirely true. She did finish 15th at the World Championships last year. Oh, she's down. She slipped front wheel out there. She's gone down. And it's a lot steeper than it looks there. And she's washed out the front wheel. Now that's going to rattle her a little bit. She is coming to the tech zone. She's got Natalie Schneider right on her tail now. So Schneider, the winner in Chambéry last year, catching right up to the tail of Ren Chen Wan. So any advantage that she was trying to build, she has now lost just by washing out the front wheel there. Back now with the leaders. This is Ren Chen Wan in the leaders jersey of the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup. Like number one, yellow, and climbing very well up through here. So this is one of the climbing sections that I mentioned before, and actually this is back around now to Warrie Gill. So this is where there's two lines. There's a technical line there that the girls on the far side have taken, but you have to dismount. And I was talking with some riders last night about this line on the right-hand side, or their right-hand side, is actually a little bit longer, but faster and more efficient than having to get off and portage the bike. So I think you'll see quite a few more riders trying to use that. Even though it looks a little bit longer, it is actually a little bit more efficient. There's only one little obstacle on it, and it's probably only a second longer when you come at it with speed. Looks like Emily Batty and Gunrita Dale are both with ponytails there fighting it out, and that's Natalie Schneider. Should be sitting in second place, Natalie. Well, actually a little bit further back now. Looks like Eva Lechner has moved up in front of her, so Eva Lechner now sitting in second place, and Natalie Schneider in third. So this will bring them up into the start-finish arena. And it looks like Leni Byberg might be there in the red colours, trying to pick up the yellow plate. It is. So Leni Byberg sitting in there behind Schneider. But right now we find her towards the head of the field where we're used to seeing her pre-2008. And she could be on for a chance for a podium. But it's Bressett now that's made the move. Bressett has made the move up to Ren Chen Wan. So Bressett, the under-23 leader, and one of the youngest riders in the field. And as I mentioned before, the under-23 women's race starts after this race. The top under-23 riders in the world have the option whether to race elite or in the under-23 category. So you'll see riders like Julie Bressett and Annie Last who've opted to ride with the elite because that's where they feel they should be racing at that level. And Bressett comes through in second. Sabine Spitz, a very strong ride for her in third, and Wojciechowska, our world champion, going through in fourth. Catherine Pendle going through in fifth in podium position. Finished here sixth last year. Eva Lechner in sixth place right now. And after Lechner, you're going to have Natalie Schneider, who's starting to drop back. And we see that a lot from Natalie Schneider. She can often start very strong, but starts to drop back. But they're our 1 and 2. The number plate tells it all. These are our 1 and 2 in the overall classification. These were the two top women from South Africa. And even though that was a number of weeks ago now, they've maintained the form and are leading this field. Ren Chen Wan for the Specialized Factory team, and Julie Bressett for BA Suntour. And now we see Sabine Spitz coming through, riding there with the world champion. Both of them have been world champion. This is Maja Wojciechowska from CCC team, and there's Lechner and Pendle. Anyway, we're back with our leaders. We'll figure out the local dialect for you later on, but right now we have Julie Bressett trying to put it towards Ren Chen Wan. And this is fascinating because these are our two top riders from South Africa, and they're back in the same place they were just about, 3 or 4 weeks ago now. And it's amazing that they've maintained this form over the rest of the field. Irena Kalentieva not here, of course. She was the race winner here in 2010. Yes, Ren Chen Wan has pulled away on this. Now, I would have thought that Bressett had a little bit more technical ability to be able to get ahead here. It is important when you're riding together and you feel more confident on the technical sections to take control of the pace. But Cheng Wan has done that, and she's coming up to that corner where she slipped off before, managed that without an incident this time. And little gap there, nothing too much for Brissett to worry about because there is the long climb coming up and she is the slider of the two. But that distinctive arch back, valuable world ranking points, up 60 points for a win, which is a massive amount of points. So the rider's taking it very, very seriously. And of course, pre-Olympic, every single point you can get for qualifying your country for the Olympics. So there's added incentive. Once again, we see Ren Chen Wan taking the outside line there. And I think she's done a great job there, moving up right in front of Julie Bressett. So she did pick up a bit of time there. And like I said, I think there'll be a few team managers watching that one for the men's race. But we're back now with the leaders, Ren Chen Wan and Julie Bressett, swapping back and forth. Making for a fascinating race as we end lap number 2, and we're about to start lap number 3 of 5. You can see the wind buffeting, the bunting around the track, and it's definitely very, very windy out there for them in the open, more exposed sections that we're not seeing on camera, but I can assure you it's quite gusty, getting up to 45 miles an hour, the wind gusts today. And there is a chance of showers today, but they'll be very fast moving. So if they come in, they'll be blown out pretty quickly. I don't think we'll see anything this afternoon for the men's race that will be long and prolonged. So
do you think a rain shower could affect the racing at all?
Not terribly. It affects tyre choice a little bit, but all of them know that the gully, or what we call Worry Gill, is wet anyway. So that's not going to change. What will be, it's just in their minds, just psychologically, and being able to see clearly, having to change eyewear, just little things that you need to adapt to. The coldness, when it's windy and wet, it can really hit you through to the core, so you might have to change your base layer plan for what you're wearing. So a couple of little things like that, but I don't think us as spectators are going to see a huge difference in the race result. All right, 1 and 2 coming across the line to end lap number 2. They've completed that now in 42 minutes, and we can see that the gap will start to grow on third place. I would think that it will be some time before we see our third place riders, the Catherine Pendle, talking to Maya Wachowska, because she wants her to take a turn here. It's almost like on the road on a windy day. You want to not do all the work at the front when the wind's blustering. You can see the flags in the background. They've got a headwind right now. So this is a headwind on the main straight, and she just asked Maya Wachowska to take a turn through there so they should have a bit of a break as Spitz sits in on third wheel in that group, and we wait now for 6th place. This should be Eva Lechner in the Italian triple stripe of red, white and green. And then behind her we should see the other Lunar team rider, that's Katarina Nash. Georgia Gould I haven't seen much of in this race. She's sitting down around 25th. But back now to second group. This looks like Catherine Pendle sitting in third, and Maya Wachowska now sitting on the back of that with Sabine Spitz in the middle. So Wachowska going to 5th place. So that's 3rd, 4th and 5th, and Eva Lechner now, Wachowska taking the outside line. That is quite a bit longer, and the A line isn't really that tough. I would probably only use the B line on the first lap if there was a lot of traffic, but the A line for all of these top girls should be quite achievable. Perhaps Wachowska thinking, I'll stay out of the way in case one of those two in front of me has a problem, and get a nice clear run down line B. And Elizabeth Osel back in 23rd. Well, she will not be happy with that. She's going to lose her top 10 ranking and her front line starts. And Elizabeth Osel, the former World Cup winner from 2008, well, that's really a tough day for her. Ren Chen Wan now leads Julie Bressett as she did before on that descent, and cautiously goes down the little steep drop that leads into the tech area. Both riders having no mechanical issues, but they might pick up some water. So Catherine Pendle now has made a bit of a break on 4th and 5th. So Pendle now moving away since down through the Worry Gill, and she's got away from 4th and 5th, and that's allowed Eva Lechner to move up towards this podium group. So right now we see Maya Wachowska ahead of Sabine Spitz and Eva Lechner. So that's the next group of 3. So Catherine Pendle now finds herself between 2 groups. What can you say about Julie Bressett? I mean, she's a very young rider. We've seen the Sabine Spitz, who turns 40 after Christmas this year, and some other the older riders still out there. She's so young, it means she's got a future of another 15 years or so.
Yes, and she's moved on another step from last year as well. She was a great under-23 rider last year. She's still an under-23, but she's chosen to race elite.
Now, how's the wind? You just come in from outside. When I came in here, it was starting to get quite gusty. It's some of these open sections like Contour Road and the back road up the, what's the one up the back called up near Jingleby Summit.
Yeah.
It's quite exposed up there, and they've got a headwind on the start-finish straight. It must be playing some sort of role.
definitely. And I think you're seeing groups and you're seeing riders sitting in a group.
Because it does have the climbs out the back, but generally it's very, very flat and fast in some sections, and so you can get the speed up.
Yes, it's a good course for kind of keeping speed. It flows quite nicely. There's a couple of severe climbs, but they're relatively short. I guess now we can't have super long climbs in mountain bike races with the shorter courses, but the 2 climbs on here are definitely challenging, and they definitely make a difference to the it's a good place to make an attack or to try and save some energy if you're sitting in a group. They're definitely decisive climbs.
Speaking to the team manager of Topek, Ergon, in order to remain attractive and appealing to all the other sports that are out there.
That's right, there's a lot of sports trying to get the same TV time and the same marketing and the same sponsorship, and it's just trying to kind of keep the sport moving forward. And whenever there's changes, some people like it, some people don't, and change is always uncomfortable. And it's I think if we look back a few years, mountain biking was a lot different, and there's been a few changes over the years, and it's not the same sport as it was in the 90s from a World Cup point of view. We don't have the 3-hour 20 races at Plymouth anymore, and the big 10-12 kilometre laps which weren't great for television coverage, and they were hard for spectators to get a feel for what's going on. I think here, a course like this, spectators can kind of dash from one side to the other quite easily within a lap and see different sections.
Yeah. We could be in for some blustery, rainy sort of gusts that come through. They said that if it did rain, it wouldn't rain very long, that the wind would blow it through, but I think we're on for some rain at some point today. It was raining as you were calling the riders up to the line, and then it was bright sunny.
Yeah, it's one of the great advantages of living on an island. The weather changes minute to minute. So I don't think it'll rain for long today if it does.
And if it does, it won't have much impact. So
on the course, none at all, no.
So there we see our leaders come through. They've actually extended the lead by another 15 seconds over Catherine Pendrell, so it's a 47-second lead. She's on the Specialized. I believe she's one of the Japanese Specialized riders coming through in 23rd place. And Alexander Engen from Sweden now dropping back to 25th. Now, it might just be a technical problem, a puncture, and she's running round to the feed zone. We might be able to pick that up in the start-finish arena, because... and
she'd done a good ride, because she'd 43rd on the grid, so she'd moved through from the 40s into that top 10 position, and she's obviously had another issue.
She had a massive start, actually. She picked up nearly 30 places in the start loop, so she had a massive start, got up to 16th, and, well, now we see her back. Still not come through in 34th place, so big disappointment there for Waldeck and his crew. And you can see now Esther Zeus is trying to make up some places after her mechanical. She dropped back to 34th, back up to 29th now.
Leah Davison again off his 79 start position, moved almost into the top 30 there. She's moving forward nicely.
And seems to be slipping further and further back as well. So disappointment there for some of the big name riders, but all of the action is up front as we watch. This is now 3rd, 4th and 5th. It looks like our 2 champions, the Olympic and world champion, are trying to get back onto the wheel of Catherine Pendrell. And there is Anna Langvad there, the Danish rider, going through next, and she's ahead of Eva Lechner and Lenny Byberg. So it is a difficult venue, but they're doing a marvellous job here at Dalby Forest here in North Yorkshire. It's about an hour and a half from Leeds Airport. If you want to come down here and ride this track, I highly recommend it. A lot of people come here all week. The forest is enormous. There's so much great riding to be had here. And Pickering and the surrounding areas. Now we can see the rain coming in. Now this is one of the things that we're talking about, blustery gales coming in with squally showers. And that will make it a little bit slick on top of the tree roots and the rocks, but nothing too much to worry about. We'll just see how heavy it is. And it might even be raining just on this section of the track and not on another section. It is that localised. And you can see the locals, only one of great interest for us, the lead 2, and then the race for 3rd place. Catherine Pendrell again gapping a little bit on Medusa. She's obviously a little bit more efficient coming down through there. She's running the Maxxis Icons on the front of her bike, and a tyre that she likes very, very much. Same as Marielle and Fremont, actually. They find them very fast rolling, but with good traction on the sidewalls. There she is, our Danish rider. And let me see, both riders, this is the first time I've seen Reng Cheng Wan go the A-line on that particular section of the track. So something changing her mind there, might have been the rain, or, well, so you can see there now it's absolutely sunny and as if there's no rain at all. So these showers are very localised. They'll be coming around now. This is 1.5 kilometres to go, and then they'll be coming through here to get the bell lap. So they'll be coming up to the last lap. A fascinating dice between our 2 top protagonists from South Africa, leading the World Cup. Remember, it's 250 points for a win and 200 for second. And in fact, if Julie Bressette was to win this, they would be equal first on points, both of them with 450 points, and the leader jersey would go to Bressett because she would have been the most recent winner. So fascinating to see what will happen between these two riders. For Wren, if she can get out and win this one, she'll build a nice buffer over her main competitor of about 100 points. And that will be turning the heads of a few team managers out there, I can assure you, as we'd like to see some new talent coming up towards the front of the field. Only last another one to mention. But right now we see Catherine Pendrell having to pass one of the slower under 23 riders from another race. So Pendrell getting up over the very last part of this climb. This is the end of the climbing on lap number 4 to come round and get the bell lap. And there's Annika, plate number 13, not unlucky for her today, Sabine Spitz, and then Wojciechowska. So that's a great group of 4 to fight out the minor placings of the podium. 2 of these will get on the podium, 3 of them will get on the podium. So far though, most of the riders seem to be coming through. They have 76 riders through that haven't been pulled. Annika Beerten has been pulled out in position 81. So Annika Beerten is out of the race. And she will get a result though. She's just been pulled under the 80% rule, and that's the rule where you are, they calculate the time of the first full lap completed by the leader, and 80% of that is the time that you must be within the leader each lap round. So for argument's sake, if it's a 20-minute lap, here's our group for third. This is Catherine Pendrell, quite happy to sit in front now. But I wouldn't be surprised if she concedes that she can't get the front 2. She might try and sit in behind some of these other riders on the last lap and rest her legs a little bit, because if it comes down to a sprint, well, it's going to be interesting to see. Ren is out of the seat now. Ren Cheng-Wan out of the seat and trying to put a bit of a gap in. She knows it's the last lap. She heard the bell go off, and she's put a little bit of a gap now into Bressett. Ren Cheng-Wan, there's her feeder right at the front of the feed zone. There's the feeder. Large man there from the BH Sun Tour team, as Bressett now goes back into the lead. So these two swapping back and forth, a bit of a cat and mouse game. Bressett speaking French, and Ren Cheng-Wan speaking Chinese, and she's going for an attack on the outside. Well, that was an interesting attack there. Sprinting after the feed zone and attacks around the outside and then pulls up. I think this is a wise decision by Pendrell. If she wants to finish third out of this group here, or at the front of this group here, she's going to need to play some tactics, because I think that you should find that Sabine Spitz is the strongest sprinter, and Langvaart will be riding out of her skin just on adrenaline to be that far up in a World Cup field. So Pendrell's going to have to use her brain a bit in this last lap to see if she can get the third spot. That looks like Byberg now coming through now behind Lechner. The next rider we should see would be Natalie Schneider, or is she? This is an under 23 rider who's not been pulled. Don't worry about that rider crossing the line. The next riders will we see are these two here. Back now with our leader. This is Julie Bressett. Now where is Ren Cheng-Wan? Now she gapped her on the contour road. That's a long road section that comes up to this section that is off camera, and it looks like Julie Bressett has gapped Ren Cheng-Wan after Ren Cheng-Wan attacked, trying to get into that single track that goes out of the greenfield area. Now what has happened there? This is definitely an issue for Ren Cheng-Wan. This could be a decisive moment. Have we got a puncture or some other problem? Well, the tyres look okay. Will, can you see anything there? I couldn't see anything. She came through. So interesting that she's lost that amount of time along the flat road section. It is a flat road after a small technical descent from the greenfield area. No, her bike looks fine. She's not turning over the pedals that much. She seems to be coasting a little bit. I'm not so sure. There might be some sort of gear issue there. Or she might have just hit a wall. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell, but she does not look aggressive at all, and so she's not going to get her second win of the season for the first time. Well, that's a pity we don't get to see that, but it is on a relatively less interesting section of the course. We cannot have hat cameras everywhere. We do have 8, but it's happened on the Contour Road, which is a flat gravel road. It does have one little kick up over a rock, a little obstacle, but well, not enough for me to think. You see the way these girls are attacking this section. Ren Cheng-Wan was not attacking at all. She was coasting through here. Now, I don't know whether it's a gear selection issue or whether or not she's just hit a brick wall and cannot have. She also ran she was here for the British round of cross country on this course this year, and she won that round. And so she does know this course quite well. So she was smart enough to come over and do the British National and race on this course before the World Cup, and to get to see how the course is. And a lot of people applauding as she goes through the last time through Tech Zone 2. Here we see Ring Cheng Wan really not attacking this section at all, and she may be in danger of being caught, and she is indeed. She is in danger of being caught by Catherine Pendrell. So Ring Cheng Wan, whatever problem she is facing, is now in danger of being caught by 3rd, 4th and 5th place. Well, the way she's holding her wheel down there, she does look very tired. My guess is that she is absolutely exhausted, that the effort of trying to stay at the front of the field from the very beginning has played a big part in her performance. And it was odd that I saw her attack there just after the feed zone, put in a bit of a sprint, and may well be the very last of her legs that we're seeing now. Shouldn't be long now before we see the third. There it is, right in shot. We see Catherine Pendrell dropping in. There's Annika Langvaard. And then Wojciechowska, Sabine Spitz, and now we see Eva Lechner joining this group. So we now have 5 riders with a chance of chasing down Ring Cheng Wan. So we can see this is Julie Bressett coming up towards the final climb section. The motorbike in front has got the checkered flag on the front, meaning this is the last lap, and they're coming round to get the finish. So we're watching our leader come up now, but the fascinating thing will be to see who is second place at the top of Warrior Gill. It should be any second now that we're going to see them drop into that particular section and see who is in second place. But look at the gap that Julie Bressett has got. She's got a comfortable lead now. She could almost lose the chain and coast in. She's that far in front. 1.5 kilometers to go. That's the end of climbing. She knows that's the end of climbing. All she's got to do now is a bunch of switchbacks and head through the forest. And here we're back now to second place. So it looks like Ring Cheng Wan is indeed still in second. She saw them coming at the bottom of Medusas, and it looks like she's going flat out to try and get away. But there's third place right behind. That's Annika Langvaard now. She can see second place. She's got second and third. They're right there together. Well, that's going to be mentally very tough for Ring Cheng Wan to hang on now in this last kilometre and a half, to have someone like Annika Langvaard sitting in third with a chance for a second place. And there's Sabine Spitz. Where is Catherine Pendrell? Right there at the back of that group. She was right there behind Eva Lechner. Well, there's been a big change out along the road through Jingleby Summit. A lot of change. Well, we're going to see them as they come up through here now. This looks like Annika Langvaard making a move on the outside of Ring Cheng Wan. Will Ring Cheng Wan trying to defend? And is it Sabine Spitz we see right in behind there? Looks like Sabine Spitz sitting there now in 4th place. So Ring Cheng Wan is going to lead after this last little climb. Catherine Pendrell has lost out there and is back in 7th place. Yes, indeed they have. So Annika Langvaard in the predominantly red jersey has got ahead of Ring Cheng Wan. So that is a change. Sabine Spitz can see second and third just ahead, sitting now in 4th place. They've got a bit of a gap now over 5th. And we wait to see if Sabine Spitz will find her way to the first World Cup podium she's had in many a race since the Olympic gold medal of Beijing. So the smile already on the face of Julie Bressett, the young rider from France. Turning 22 on the 9th of June, not far away from her 22nd birthday, only 21 right now. And her current world ranking is 13. That's going to get a big boost by this particular win. And as I mentioned before, she'll find herself in the leader's jersey because they're going to be equal on points. Well, so here we are. This is Annika Langvaard looking behind now to Sabine Spitz. Where is Ring Cheng Wan? So they've dispensed of her already. So it looks like third and fourth, second and third now. Ring Cheng Wan dropping back to 4th. But Julie Bressett, there she is taking the win. She's absolutely ecstatic. And that is a first ever win by this French woman. And I think it will be first of many for this 21-year-old who takes historically the lead in both the under 23 and the elite jerseys for the World Cup. That's never happened in women's mountain biking, and we've just seen it happen right here in front of us at Dalby Forest. Well, it looks like Annika Langvaard is going to take it. The Danish woman is sprinting for the race of her life. She is mouth open and sprinting to the line. Annika Langvaard takes second place in World Cup. Fantastic result for those two women, 1 and 2, finding themselves in unique positions in their career. And third place, they're going to Sabine Spitz, a welcome return to the top end of the podium for our Olympic champion from Beijing. The team cannot believe it. They're absolutely ecstatic for this independent rider riding for the Fuji team. And Eva Lechner takes another well-deserved podium, finishing in 4th and 5th place there. Well, Ring Cheng Wan hangs on to a podium, but she looks absolutely exhausted in 9th place for Urakova. So that's Schneider coming in 9th. Urakova should be 10th. And finishing in 11th, probably Marie-Hélène Premont, but we'll just wait and see if that is indeed who it is. It looks like it. Yes, it is. Marie-Hélène Premont coming in 11th.
Sabine Spitz in 3rd position, Eva Lechner in 4th, and Cheng Wan Ren was in 5th place. 1 minute 24 separates the first
Yeah, I am very happy today to win. For me, it's a nice revelation. I am very surprised. I had a bad starter because Sabine Spitz made a mistake, so I crashed with her. And then I go ahead very quickly to caught the group of the head of the race, and in the second lap I was to run, and so I followed her. I comment dire, I have all to give my effort. Yes, so I am very happy. And I dedicate my race of my family who come here especially to support me, and my coach. So the public was warm, a good day, good race, super.
Ladies and gentlemen, Supervisor of the XCO, and now, ladies and gentlemen, in honour of our champion today, the national anthem of France. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together one more time for our champions today. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for your champions and for our race winner, UCI XCO.